Howdy y'all, thank you for joining me today for this playthrough of Marvel Champions the card game Hero Pack Falcon. What we've done here is I have taken this deck that came in here, it was pre-constructed, I sleeved it up, unchanged, shuffled it up, and we're going to play it solo up against the first character in the campaign for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is Black Widow, Yelena Belova, and we're going to see how it holds up. Right off the bat, let's go ahead. We've already given Yelena Belova her 13 hit points. Let's get the setup because she gets 13 hit points per player. And what I basically did is normally it's supposed to have the standard set plus the Black Widow set. And then it recommends 2 modular encounter sets, and it recommends aim abduction and aim science. I flipped the coin. This time it came up heads, which was abduction, so we got aim abduction in there, and then instead of aim science, I went ahead and put Fixer in here, the Techno encounter set, because this was the one that came with the Precon of Sam Wilson / Falcon. We're really kind of hoping it don't come out. I mean, it was mainly in there for the Thunderbolts encounter set with Baron Zemo, which is in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. expansion. But we went ahead and mixed it in there. All right, so the last part we got to do for the setup for the bad guys, I already put this here, and I'll show why if you're new, but is we get to go search in the encounter deck for a minion and put it into play engaged with us. So let me go do that. I mean, we could go for Fixer and just start off with a really hard one, but nah, we're not going to do that. I went and chose the Aim Commando, and technically, when a minion comes into play, they come into play engaged with a player. But since we're playing solo, I'm just going to put all the bad guy stuff in one area. And then also, when Aim Commando comes into play, they do have the ability Quick Strike, which means they get to attack immediately as soon as they come into play. But since we are in Alter Ego form, they don't get to do their Quick Strike. All right, I'm going to be shuffling this while we talk about a few other things. First off, this will be a teach, as I will just go through the first round. That way, if it's somebody who jumps in, I do want more people to play this game, so I'm always willing to do just a quick teach so they can at least follow along what's going on, especially if it's, like I said, something they wanted to play or they're just finding it for the first time and they see Falcon. And then also a small part of it is there's sometimes where I'll basically either say something out loud because I'm not sure of it, or just, I mean, there's so many times when there's little intricacies in this game, and it's nice whenever we can kind of all learn together. Or sometimes it's confusing to some people because this is a newer game for them or a more complicated game than what they're used to playing. So it lets them see how something is done. So it's all for a lot of reasons. But anyways, this should be more than enough shuffles on this. And then we will cut it there. And that will be the encounter deck, ready to go. All right, I've already given this about 100 shuffles, but I will shuffle it some more before we do some of this other stuff. But what we're going to be doing here is, the goal of the game is Black Widow is trying to pull off the Widow's Web. It starts with 2 threat on the main scheme per player. So we're playing solo, so it starts with 2 threat on there. And we need to try to KO Black Widow twice through 2 of her stages. We have her stage 1 and stage 2 here. So we're trying to KO her 13 hit points, and then she'll get 16 on her next one, if I remember right, before she either pulls off her main scheme where she gets this much threat, which is 10 threat per player on the main scheme. So she's got 2 to her 10 already. Or she manages to knock out all the players, which were solo, so she just has to knock us out. So we got to knock her out twice before she pulls off her main scheme or knocks us out. So that should be more than enough shuffles. Give it a few more here since that one card flew out. All right, and do it a cut there, and that'll be my deck. All right, with Sam Wilson here, we do have a hand size of 6 and hit points 10. So let's give him his hit points. And we start in alter ego form. And we are the only player, so we get the first player marker. And then it said hand size 6, so we draw 6 cards into our starting hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the first step is we can do what's called a mulligan, where basically we can discard any number of cards we want to from our hand, and then after we discard, we can draw back up to our starting hand size. I don't know. I kind of like my hand, so I think I'm just going to keep it. So I'm not going to discard anything and just keep all 6 that I just drew. So once every player has chosen whether they want to mulligan or not and drawn back up, then we go to the beginning of the first round. A round consists of 2 phases, the hero phase and the villain phase. The hero phase consists of all the players each taking turns, and then we go through the villain phase and see how they react. So we're going to go to the top of the hero phase, where we're going to start with the first player. So the first thing we're going to do for our turn is once per hero phase, each hero can choose to switch forms 1 time for free on their identity, which means they can switch from alter ego to hero form or vice versa. So in this case, we're in alter ego form, so we're going to switch to our hero form. When we switched to our hero form, it changed our abilities, our basic abilities to the side here. Now we have thwart, attack, and defense, whereas before we had recovery, and we'll get to those here in a second. But now we also have some other wording on this card. It says during the player phase, which is where we're at, I called it the hero phase, but during the player phase, play with the top card of the encounter deck face up. And then now also we have the eagle-eyed response that after you play an aerial card, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Now that's not a forced response, so that means we get to decide. So, zoom down a little bit, clean this up a little bit, and then let's flip over. So this is actually the top card of the deck. Now really, only thing we can use this knowledge for is either the stuff that's on Falcon's cards, or to know, like, for instance, if we leave this up here, this is going to let us know what the boost is going to be for the villain if we let this card go through. The next thing we're going to do is we can play a card from our hand. In order to play a card from our hand, you can look at the top here. This says how much it costs in order to play that card. And that's how many resources you have to pay. And in order to pay the resources, if you look at the bottom of the cards here, you can see the resources. And by discarding the card, that's getting the resources from that card. So hence, I want to play Falcon's Flock here. It costs me 2 resources to play. So I'm going to discard these 2 cards, which is going to give me those 2 resources. And now this card can come into play. What this card is, it's a support, which means it'll come into play and just kind of be something that we can use. It lets us know it's got 5 uses on it, 5 bird counters. And uses means that if all the counters disappear off of this, then it gets discarded. And then as a resource, which is a resource is like what we did there, like spending a resource. So during any of that time when we spend a resource, we can remove 1 bird counter from here to generate a energy resource for an aerial card, limit once per card. So basically our next 5 aerial cards can be cheaper. We'll put blue counters on here, 5 little blue birds or bird counters. There we go. And now, if we want, we can do the response here, which is after you play an aerial card, discard the top card of the encounter deck. This was an aerial bird card. So, this is where I'd always just be wondering, like, we can get rid of this because we don't want this to be a +3 onto what Black Widow's going to do. So I think we will. It just could be something worse, but we're going to go ahead and do it. I guess it can't be worse, but We're going to go ahead and discard it. So we discard it, and it reveals the next one, which is a 3 also. So we're going to go ahead and play another card. I want to play Battlefield Awareness here. Costs 2. This has the aerial trait, and remember, we can, as a resource, remove 1 bird counter from here to generate 1 energy resource for an aerial card. Aerial card, so we will remove 1 of the birds. There's 1 of the resources. And then we'll pay this for the other resource. And then now that lets us put this into play. Now this is an upgrade. An upgrade, like a support, comes into play, but it actually attaches to someone. In this case, it attaches to Falcon. And this gives us, it's aerial, and it's a skill. It's a hero interrupt that when Falcon uses a basic power, we can exhaust Battlefield Awareness and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Falcon gets +1 to that power for this use for each icon in the discarded card's boost area. We put this into play. This is an aerial card, so we can use this response again because it does not say once per phase. So as a response, after you play an aerial card, discard the top card of the encounter deck. So we're going to get rid of this 3 again. There we go. So then we see the new next card, a 2. And this is where I'm getting the Scarlet Witch vibes, because do we keep pressing our luck? Because also we're discarding cards. Now granted, solo, odds of us getting through this whole deck are slim, but... So one of the other things you can do for your turn is you could do what's called a basic action, or basic power. And what those are is we can thwart, attack, or defend. So if we wanted, we could thwart, exhaust Falcon, and we get to thwart and remove 2 threat from a scheme if we want. Or we can exhaust Falcon and attack an enemy for 2, as it says 2 there, damage. Or if we have an attack coming in to us, I can't talk, we could exhaust Falcon to defend, and we'd be able to reduce the damage coming into us by whatever this number is. And then if we were on the other side, we could exhaust and recover and get that many hit points back. So in this case, we're going to have Falcon exhaust and attack. And we have an interrupt here that when Falcon uses a basic power, so an interrupt looks at before, so we're using a basic power, so we're attacking. So now, when Falcon uses a basic power, in this case attack, exhaust Battlefield Awareness and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Falcon gets +1 to that power for this use for each icon in a discarded card's boost area. So let's do that. We're going to exhaust, so we're doing 2, and then we discard this, and we get the pluses to whatever's here, which there's 2 there, so 2 + 2, we get plus, so we're doing a 4 attack, and we get to do it against an enemy. Now we could attack Black Widow, but she has threat here, which is going to allow her to do her preparation and stuff. So I think since we got 4 damage, we're going to go ahead and attack Aim Commando here. So we're going to attack Aim Commando. And I'm assuming I would have had to, well, we knew what the damage was, so it wouldn't matter. But yep. So I attack Aim Commando. It's enough to knock out Aim Commando because he's only got 3 hit points. And then we get to see the new card on top here. All right, that was not so bad for us. So once a player doesn't want to do any more actions or play any more cards or anything, it would pass to the next player's turn. In this case, there are no other players. So we, after all the players have taken a turn, we go to the end of the player/hero phase. And the first step of the hero phase is each player can choose to discard cards if they wish to from their hand. In this case, we're going to keep this because I do want to get this into play. And then once they've discarded, they will draw up to their max hand size. Now remember, my max hand size on my alter ego size was 6. Now it is 5. So since I had kept 1 card, that means I draw up to my 5. So I get to draw 4 new cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we're going to become Captain America here? Once you've drawn up your hand, you ready and unexhaust all the cards in your play area. And that's the end of the player/hero phase. We move on to the villain phase. And remember, this is only on the villain phase that we see this, so this flips back over, even though we know it's there. And then the first step of the villain phase is to accelerate the scheme. So we look here to see how much we accelerate the scheme for. In this case, it is plus X per player. So we got to see what X is. X is Black Widow's stage number. So Black Widow's stage number is 1. So it's plus 1 per player. So it adds 1 threat per player. Next is the villain activation step. The villain is going to activate against each identity, player/identity. And what form the identity in is how the villain will activate. If the identity is in alter ego form, then the villain will scheme and add more threat to the main scheme. If the identity they're activating against is in hero form, then they will attack and of course do damage to the identity. In this case, we are in hero form, so Black Widow will be attacking us. And now is when we would have to choose to defend. And when we defend, remember, we could use this because it said anytime we use a basic power, we're defending. So we know we would get a plus 1 to our defense of a 3. But if you played this game before, you know she's going to get that as a boost card if we leave it there, which means she's only going to do 2 damage anyways, which we have enough defense for that. And actually, I was going to defend, but I think I'm just going to take it. It's only 2 damage and we're at full, so we're going to take it. So Black Widow's attacking. She does 1 damage, but she's a villain. So a villain gets what's called a boost card. So they deal themselves a boost card into the boost there, into their boost pile. And then there could be other cards there, but in this case there isn't. And then we look at all the boost cards. Now we already know what this one is because we're going to look at the bottom here and we don't care about the rest of the card. Well, there's a little bit on this one that we care about, but we don't care about the rest of the card. We're only looking at these symbols down here in the bottom right corner. For every one of these right symbols here, the symbol to the right, the little triangle-like symbol, that's an extra boost of damage or threat that they will be doing depending upon what they're doing here. So in this case, she's doing 1 plus 1, so she's doing 2 damage. Now, if this symbol's here, it's called a boost ability. So we have to go look, and you'll see there it's got the same symbol, and it says boost. And whatever it says there happens with this attack. So it says here, as a boost, if this activation is an attack, it gains piercing. Now, this ain't going to have much of an effect, because all piercing is there's an ability called toughness, or a thing that can give you toughness. And if you get toughness, what it is, it's basically like a shield, because if you have this card on your character, any damage that that character would take is all ignored, and this just goes away. Piercing says basically, if they have toughness, get rid of the toughness first, then do the damage. So in this case, she's just doing, piercing doesn't matter, she's just doing 2 damage. We did not defend, so we just take the 2 damage. And I was going to defend, but it's because I want to do something on my turn. Because remember, if I would have defended, I would have had to exhaust. And if I would have exhausted, then any attack coming, then now on my turn, remember, you don't ready your stuff until the end of your turn, of the hero phase. So then I would not be able to do anything on the next turn, at least as far as my basic abilities. So we just took the 2 damage. After that, if there's any minions engaged with the identity, then whatever they did, whatever activation the villain did is what the minions would do. We had a minion, we took it out. So now we go to the encounter step. And what the encounter step consists of is each player is dealt an encounter card into their encounter pile, because you could have things that add cards to your encounter pile, but you do not do the encounter cards immediately. Another thing I know a lot of people get confused on. You have to wait till this encounter step, and then that's when you would do all the cards that are in your encounter pile, including the one that was just dealt to you. So in this case, we had no encounter pile, so this was the only card. And now we're going to have to deal with these cards. And we're going to, now we care what the card says. So in this case, it is Widow's Bite, and it says, when revealed, you are stunned. Take 1 damage, 2 damage instead if you were already stunned. So we get stunned, and then we have to take a damage. So what stun is, it's another one of these cards, and if a character gets stunned, then the next time that character would go to attack, instead of attacking, they just get rid of the stun. Basically shake it off. So it said, I become stunned, and I have to take a damage. All right, all the encounter cards were done. So the last step of the villain phase is to pass the first player marker to the next player. In this case, we do not have a first player, or we are the only player, so we just keep it. And that's it. That's a round. I know that was going to be long, but these will be a lot faster now because I don't have to go through all that. And hopefully not bore y'all with other stuff. I'll just bring up other things that need to be done. So with that, we go back to the beginning of the hero phase. And let's see if we can manage to knock Black Widow out. We haven't got to touch her yet. But we got to do that before she pulls off her scheme or knocks me out, which she's definitely working on. All right, we're back to the beginning of the hero phase or the player phase. So we get to see the top card here. We actually had kind of a long cut here that I did because I was just going back and forth. I want to be able to bring out both these allies. That way it gives me pluses to attack because they both are the same thing. Just one gives plus to attack and one gives plus to thwart. But the only way I could bring one out this turn is to sacrifice Captain America or Spectrum, which I want to bring Spectrum out also. So, and I just can't help myself. I want to play Captain America cards. So we're not doing optimal plays here. So I had to make the choice of what I want to be able to do more of. And I think I just want to be able to do more attack. So we're going to go ahead and bring, and I know I just for some reason cannot say this. I guess I have been saying it right. It just sounds weird to me. Maybe with my Aggie accent. I don't know. Arrow. So we want to bring out Arrow. She costs 3. So we're going to pay 2 here. And she does have Aerial. So we can remove one of these to pay the third one. And now we get to bring in Arrow. Now Arrow is an ally. You can have up to 3 allies in play at one time. If you bring a 4th one in, you just have to discard one of the other ones. And I discard the things that actually make it to where you can have more allies in play. So you can have up to 3 of them into play. And she has 3 hit points. And then you can see she has a thwart and attack. Which basically, if you'll notice, she can do the same thing that a regular character can do, but if she does it, these little stars underneath there, then that means those are consequence stars. So if she does it, that means she has to take the damage for the consequence of doing that action. And then you'll notice they don't have defense because they just kind of take it in the face if they defend for you. Oh, we're back to me debating, because we played an aerial card, so we could do the response of getting rid of that. And that is a 2. And what I'm planning on doing here, if there's a 0 here, would kind of screw me up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and do it. So we're going to do it. We're going to discard this with the Eagle-Eyed ability. And then that reveals a 3. Okay, so that doesn't mess up what I wanted to do anyways. Because now, what I want to do, now I could just attack, and that would just get rid of the stun. It wouldn't do nothing, just get rid of the stun. But I think I want to go clean up that thing. So I'm going to go ahead and thwart with Falcon. Now remember, it's only the next time I stun or attack that the stun has any effect. So I'm going to go ahead and thwart for 2. But I'm also going to activate this, which says discard the top card of the deck, of the encounter deck, and get pluses for each icon there. So I'm thwarting for 2 plus 3. So we thwart for 5. There's only 3 here, so it just gets rid of all that. And then we also get to see the next card on top. And actually, I just realized something really cool about Falcon's ability and the way Black Widow's attacks work. Because I can see whether it's going to be a preparation before I attack. That's pretty cool. I don't know why I just now realize that. Slow Aggie brain, I guess. Because what made me think about it is I'm going to have Arrow here go ahead and attack Black Widow for 1. And Black Widow has an interrupt that when a character you control attacks Black Widow, remove 1 threat from the main scheme, ignoring any crisis icons. Crisis icons just say you can't remove any threat on here. This ignores that. It means you can't remove any threat from the main scheme until the crisis icon goes away. Discard the top card of the encounter deck and resolve each preparation ability on that card. Now we already know there's not a preparation here, but she can't do this anyways because there has to at least be a threat on here in order to do that. She's attacking for 1, but there's no threat on here, so this interrupt doesn't happen. So she just does 1 damage to Black Widow. But remember, she's got a consequence star, so she has to take a consequence damage. Doesn't really feel worth it, but we already did it. Another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and play this. I just want to. I'm hoping to be able to do some stuff with it. We're going to go ahead. Oh, wait. I can only play if I am Bucky Barnes or Sam Wilson player. I am not. Well, I was about to do it anyways. So what we're going to actually do first is we're going to do that 1 time. Switch over to our alter ego. I was going to do that anyways. And actually, it says if I'm the Bucky Barnes or Sam Wilson player. We know I'm the Sam Wilson player, so I assume I can still do that even in hero form. But because it doesn't say I have to be in that form. It just says I have to be that player, which I am. But I'm going to put it in play. I'm hoping we can bring out Captain America's shield. We're going to make him into Cap Falcon. And I'm just doing that because I love Captain America, so let's do this. We're going to go to the end of the hero phase. I'm keeping this in hand because I'm hoping to bring her out. So we're going to drop to our hand size of 6. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then ready all of our cards. Go to the top of the villain phase. Accelerate the scheme for 1. I also forgot, and I know I'm just going to forget it because I'm not used to doing it, that this flipped back over. We're in alter ego form, so Black Widow will scheme. She schemes for 2 plus her boost card, and we already saw it's a 1. So 2, 3, she schemes for 3. No minions in play. So now we go to the encounter phase. And we have the AIM Commando come out. And he comes into play engaged, which means he quick strikes. But he actually doesn't quick strike because we're in alter ego form. So he doesn't get to quick strike. So he just comes into play. And then we're back to the beginning of our turn. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be using Arrow anymore to attack or thwart unless we just really need to. Because I want to keep her up. I think I'm going to use her because right now she makes all my aerial characters plus 1 attack. Which I'm aerial with Sam Wilson, right? I should be. I'm pretty sure if I remember right. Yes. I'm aerial with Sam Wilson, so it gives him plus 1 attack. And then also if I get any other allies, which we saw all the allies in this deck are aerial. So, but also, I'm going to go ahead and play this card. This is 0 cost upgrade attached to an aerial ally, max 1 per ally. As an interrupt, when another aerial ally would take any amount of consequence damage, I exhaust the attached ally to prevent 1 of that damage. And it's because of something I'm about to do here, which seems really cheesy. All right, I don't know if I'm ever going to get this shield off, so we're just going to go ahead and put it underneath me like that. And then we have Arrow here, who's just going to basically turn into a support, I think, at this point. But Because now I'm going to bring out, right, that wasn't, I couldn't have made that cheaper. No. We're going to bring out Spectrum here. She costs 5. Now she has the aerial trait, so we can get 1 from there. So now he's got to pay 4. We have this, which says as a resource, double the number of resources this card generates while paying for an aerial card. So there's 2 of it. And then the other 2 here. So there's all 5. And I'm only holding on to those right now because we bring Spectrum into play here. And it says, as a response, after you play Spectrum, tuck 1 card used to pay for her under her. If that card's printed resource has, and then depending on what we tuck under there, she'll either get +2 thwart, +2 attack, +2 hit points, or if we paid with a wild, it gets all of the above. Like I said, I wanted to use this to get Captain America's shield, but there's a wild in one of these ones we paid. So that seems pretty good because now she has a 3 thwart, a 3 attack, 5 hit points, and, well, yeah, she has all that. And the reason I was saying and is because we just now made it to where she has 1 consequence star on each of those, which means if I don't use Arrow for anything or don't lose her, I can exhaust Arrow to where she's not taking damage. So I'm literally thwarting or attacking for 3 with her each turn. Seems pretty good. But we're going to go ahead and switch to our hero form anyways. Player phase, so we get to see this card. Like I said, I know I'm going to forget that off and on. So I want to get rid of this stun, but we could also have him thwart for 4. Well, let's debate what I want to do there. Right off the bat, we're going to do what I already said we were going to do. We're going to have Spectrum here attack for 1, and then she has that wild, so she attacks for 3. And we're going to have her attack the aim commando, which has 3 hit points, so he goes bye-bye. And then she would take the consequence star, but instead here it says, as an interrupt, when another aerial ally would take any amount of consequential damage, exhaust attached ally. Exhaust attached ally, I just did that. And prevent 1 of that damage. So just prevented that damage from happening. Yep, and as much as I want to get rid of this stun, I think instead we're going to have him thwart for 2. And then we're going to go ahead and get rid of the top card off the deck, which is for another 2 here. So for 4, just to clean up all this mess. And then we get to see the new card. And with that, we'll go to the end of the my player phase. So we're going to keep this in hand because I want to get that out so I can maybe defend better and do some extra little dinks of damage. Oh, we don't ready yet. I have to draw up to my hand size of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, unless something changes, looks like we're going to be getting Captain America's shield. Ready all of our cards. All right, so this flips back over. I mean, I guess there's no reason. We know what it is. It's just really more because then we don't get to know what the encounter card is as it's coming up. But, all right, so we accelerated the scheme. We are in hero form. All right, I'm going to have Falcon go ahead and defend because we know he ain't going to take any damage because he's defending for 2. Her attack is 1, and we already saw this. We know it's a 1, so 2 minus 2 means he takes 0 damage. So now we go to the encounter step, and this is where it's scary, but I guess we just learn to deal with it. All right, what is this? Attached to fixer, otherwise attached to the villain. Attached enemy gains aerial. So now he's flying. As a forced interrupt, when attached character would take 3 or more damage, prevent all of that damage, and discard jetpack. So kind of like a toughness to a degree, but just makes 1 big hit that doesn't happen. All right, back to the beginning of my turn. We're going to go do it because I want to do it. We're going to activate this hero action. We're in hero form. Exhaust Captain America. Every time when they do that, I messed it up in the Maria Hill one. Yeah, this, I definitely misread this during my unboxing. This is better than I thought, and I just didn't catch it till I just got this. Because it says exhaust Captain America, which is this card is what it means. Spend a physical resource, find Captain America's shield, and add it to your hand. Because it's not in your deck, but it says go find it, so you go get it from out of play. But it said, and I didn't catch it, if it leaves play this way, deal 4 damage to an enemy. And I was like, well, what does that mean? So what it's saying is, if I put this into play, and then if I spend a physical resource while it's in play, because while it's in play, it's giving me +1 defense and retaliate 1. And then if I spend a physical resource, exhaust this and spend a physical resource, find it, hey, oh, it's right here, it's basically saying I'm throwing it and I get to do 4 damage. And it's not an attack, so that gets around toughness, or not toughness, sorry. It gets around stun, if I'm stunned, so that means I can attack with it still, even though I'm stunned. Yeah, that's way better. That's really good. But anyways, I'm doing it. I'm just so excited. I like playing Captain America, and even though I'm not a huge fan of Cap Falcon, it's still Captain America. And I like the way this works. I'm enjoying this deck, I can already tell you. So this is probably going to be a long playthrough as I just go off on it here and fanboy up. But anyways, there's the physical resource, because when you're paying with a wild resource, which is that symbol there, if it's for a payment, it can be any resource. So it is a physical resource, and we are exhausting Captain America here. And that lets us go find Captain America's shield. I just don't have any of my white sleeves with me right now, so we find it. Oh, that finds it, and then puts it into our hand. Oh, yeah, like I said, I'm going to keep forgetting it. Beginning of the player phase, we get to see this. We probably want to keep that out, huh? That means she's hardly doing any damage. Oh, it's actually what I was saying. So this is actually, yeah, we're going to do this. So we're actually going to do, we're going to have Spectrum go ahead and attack Black Widow. Now, Black Widow has that forced interrupt that says, when a character you control attacks Black Widow, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Remove 1 threat from the main scheme. And then discard the top card of the encounter deck and resolve each preparation ability on that card. Well, we know there's no preparation ability on it, so we discard this so she doesn't get to do anything. But we do get to see what the next card... Oh, man. Yeah, we definitely want to make sure that... well, we'll just make sure that's the, the boost card, because we do not want that to be the encounter card. All right. But anyways, so now Spectrum gets to... She attacked for 3, so attacks her for 3. But remember, instead of taking damage, she has this other interrupt that when attached character would take 3 or more damage, prevent all that damage, and discard jetpack. So it just discarded the jetpack. And then Spectre would take the consequence damage. Instead, we just have Arrow prevent it with as her wingman. All right, I was going to bring something else into play, but let's go ahead and do it. I want to bring out Captain America's shield. And like I said, I don't know where my white sleeves are, but I'm just going to do that one. And we're going to pay for it with this wingman we drew. And now we have Captain America's shield in play, which is restricted, so it means we only have 2 restricteds in play. And then it also says my hero gets +1 defense and gains retaliate 1. And what retaliate is anytime Falcon is attacked and survives the attack, he does a retaliate of 1 damage back, which is what Captain America's shield did in Captain America's deck. You know what? I'm just going to move, since they're working together, let's just put them together over here. I know I could zoom out more. I want to try to stay as zoomed in as possible so y'all can read the cards if y'all need to, or see what's going on here. But anyways, I want to bring out Vibranium Microweave. Costs 2. Notice this one has 2 resources on the bottom, so I can use that one. And that pays for this upgrade. Now Falcon has another +1 defense, and he has a hero interrupt that if I'm in hero form, when Falcon would take any amount of damage, I can exhaust Vibranium Microweave and prevent 1 of that damage and deal 1 damage to an enemy. So we're just finding ways to do damage without attacking. I mean, eventually we're going to get rid of this stun, but with that, we're going to the end of my turn. I do want to keep this because we talked about how good this aerial recon was in the unboxing. Especially since I didn't even think about it, you get to see the top card of the deck so you can know what card is going to be. Oh, I mean, I can encounter that. Let's do it, you know. So anyways, so we're going to draw 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I meant up to 5 cards. So our hand size. And then ready all of our stuff. And I'll try to speed this up so that this video ain't super long. Because I will admit, I'm just kind of geeking out getting to play all this. All right, back to this top of the villain phase. Accelerate the scheme for 1. I am in hero form, so she's going to attack. I mean, I got this huge defense and to retaliate, so let's just go ahead. So we're going to defend. And we have 2, 3, 4 defense. So, beginning of the villain phase, this flips back over, but she gets the boost card, so she's attacking for 3. We had a 4 defense, 3 minus 4. She didn't do any damage to us, but we have retaliate 1, and we survived the attack, so she has to take 1 damage. And that's not an attack, so she just takes the damage. No minions in play. Do ourselves an encounter card. Really? Remember this not being good for me last time. When revealed, if you are in alter ego form, change to hero form. I'm in hero form, so we're fine. Black Widow attacks you. Give her an additional boost card for this attack. Yeah, I got cocky, didn't I? I got cocky. So I could defend with Arrow, but we got this nice combo going here. I could defend with Spectrum and just hope. But most likely it's going to be about 5 damage. But man, it could just knock me out if it's more than 5. Nah, I like this combo too much. Oh, man. Oh, I'm going to be able to prevent one of it. So, yeah, she'd have to hit a lot of damage to knock me out. So I'm not going to defend. We're just going to take it. So, because I forgot I can prevent one of that damage here. So we're just going to take it. So she's doing 1, and it said she gets an additional boost card. So she's getting 2 boost cards for this. Please. I mean, we saw a lot of 3s already. Might be a 4. Ugh, this can get ugly. Okay. So it's +3. So she's doing 4 damage. I can at least, when Falcon would take any amount of damage, exhaust Vibranium Microweave to prevent 1 of that damage and deal 1 damage to an enemy. So I take only 3 then. And then ting, pop a damage back over to her. Plus I have retaliate and I survived the attack, so she takes another damage. And back to the beginning of the hero phase. All right, well, that was a little worrisome, so we might, I got a little cocky. Don't get cocky, kid. I don't really need it, but I like the ability I'm going to be able to do with it, so we're going to bring out Flight Squadron here. I have to have the aerial trait. I do have the aerial trait, so I couldn't do it in alter ego form, which I'm probably going to at the end of this phase, but there's the 2 to pay for this. It is a support. Yeah, I'm going to have to zoom out. Play only if your identity has the aerial trait. We did it. Max 1 team card per player, right? We don't have, I knew it was a title. Yeah, it was a title. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I remember the T. If each of your allies has the aerial trait, they do. Increase your ally limit by 1, so now I can have 4 allies. I've still got 2 more spaces. And this card gains response. After you play an aerial card, exhaust this card to ready an ally you control. And really, that's what I'm wanting to use there. And here's why, because here's what we're going to do. Oh, let's go back and look at the top card. It does have a preparation. After this attack, stun the attacking character. Oh, boo. Well, that's not terrible, right? I don't like it, because I can't do what I want to do this turn, but still, I think we just go ahead and do it. So we're going to have Spectrum go ahead and attack for 3. So this happens, her interrupt, which makes this preparation happen, which is after this attack, it's going to stun Spectrum. We get to see the new card. So Spectrum takes Our Black Widow does 3 damage from Spectrum. But now Spectrum becomes stunned. And then so she don't take the consequence damage. We do the combo we've been doing. I guess that would have been a good thing if I wouldn't have done this attack earlier. I could have went and thwarted for that one so that wouldn't happen. And then she wouldn't have got stunned, but eh. Okay, I zoomed out because I'm about to play another card. I'm going to play Aerial Recon here. It is an aerial card, so I can pay for it with Falcon's Flock here, which the cost was 1, so basically got it out for free. It's basically a upgrade that as a hero action, I can exhaust Aerial Recon and deal a player a face down encounter card, and then place 1 recon counter here, and then as an interrupt, when I would be dealt an encounter card, I can remove 1 recon counter from here instead. And like I said, I didn't notice that until I just read this during the unboxing, because I know if, like, now I don't want this to be my encounter, but if there's an encounter on top that's like, hey, I don't mind that encounter, I can basically shoot it over there or I could basically make that my encounter for the turn so that on a future turn, I don't have to do an encounter. That's beautiful. I like it. That's way stronger than I was initially thinking. But anyways, the main reason I wanted to play it other than that is Flight Squadron has that response that after I play an aerial card, I just played an aerial card, exhaust this card to ready an ally I control. So I'm going to ready Spectrum. And then I'm going to have Spectrum attack again, but remember, she's stunned, so instead of attacking, she just gets rid of the stun. And that doesn't cause her consequence damage or anything because she didn't get to attack. It canceled the attack. All right, next, I'm going to do this hero action, exhaust Captain America, and spend a physical resource to find Captain America's shield and add it to your hand. If it leaves play this way, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So, exhausting this and spending the physical resource there. Exhausting this to go find Captain America's shield. Oh, where's it at? There it is. And put it in my hand. And since I did that, it says if it leaves play this way, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So sling it over here, do 4 damage to an enemy. Pow, 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 pow. And then I want to put it back into play. So we'll pay the 1 resource here to put Captain America's shield back into play. And then I'm going to switch to my alter ego form. Call that a day, and I have no cards in hand, so draw 6 because I'm in alter ego form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was about to say all the resources and nothing to spend them on, huh? Ready all this junk. Got a lot of stuff out here. All right, so this is hidden again. And accelerate the scheme. I'm in alter ego form, so she's going to scheme for 2. Plus we already saw it's going to be another 2. So no minions, go to the encounter phase, and so she gets this attachment. Night Vision Goggles gives her +1 scheme, attached to Black Widow. Each encounter card without a printed preparation ability gains preparation. Prevent all damage from this attack, then discard Night Vision Goggles. So basically it's like giving her a toughness without giving her a toughness. Of course, right when I was about to take her out. Well, giving her a toughness as long as there's threat here. If we get rid of all the threat all there, then it doesn't really even matter what the cards say. So, but it is going to give her +1 scheme. So back to the beginning of my turn. I don't really remember any bird cards he had other than I know Red Wing, but we'll just switch back to my hero form. Actually, there's one thing I'm going to change, and it's because I meant to do it, and I did this in the Winter Soldier video too. I need to heal. I'm getting pretty low here. So I'm actually going to, because nothing's changed. We haven't I'm going to heal. All right, so I heal. And then now I switch to my hero form. So now we're back to beginning player phase, so we get to see this. Okay, I was about to do something with this, but instead, let's do this instead. We're going to have Spectrum thwart for 3. Moving 3 from there. And then Arrow, making sure... actually, no. We're going to let Spectrum... Nah, yeah. We already got a good combo going there, so no. I don't know why I had something. It's because I'm about to bring someone else out, and I was going like, oh, we can let her. She's got a lot of hit points, but we stopped the consequence damage. And then now, we're going to bring out Adam Warlock. He costs 3 as the aerial trait. So, last from the Falcon's flock. Power of Flight, so that counts as 2 resources for an aerial card, which brings Adam Warlock into play. He is an aerial card, so we'll use the response here to exhaust that, to bring to ready Spectrum. Or actually, yeah, why are we doing that? No. To ready Arrow. Yeah, I'm going to have to get used to that combo. That's kind of cool. We're going to go ahead. Exhaust Captain America's shield, spend a physical resource to find Captain America's shield. There it is. If it leaves play like this, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So that's enough to KO Black Widow. And remember, this is not an attack, so it doesn't trigger her stuff. So that's enough to KO her in her first stage. She keeps her attachment. She goes to her second stage, which says, when revealed, put 2 threat on the main scheme per player. So, adds 2 threat to the main scheme. And now she goes to 16 hit points. So, 16 damage. We KO her. We're going to put Captain America's shield back into play. It's not an aerial, so... And now we're going to have Adam Warlock thwart for 1. So he removes 1 from here. And then he has, as a response, after Adam Warlock attacks or thwarts, he just thwarted, discard 1 card at random from your hand. And if it has one of the printed resource, we get to do some extra stuff. So, just so I don't forget, he would take consequence damage, but that's the reason I readied Arrow, so that he doesn't take the consequence damage. And then we mix up the cards in our hand, and I'll roll a dice just to kind of randomize this a little bit. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, so it's that one, which is Wild. So the Wild is I can do anything that I want on here, which is either remove 3 threat from a scheme, heal 3 damage from an identity, or deal 3 damage to an enemy. There's 3 threat left on that scheme, so I'm going to go ahead and just remove the 3 threat from the scheme. So remove 3 threat from the scheme. And actually, looking at this stun net, that's not that bad for me, because it's basically like a stun, but I'm managing to work around that. Yeah, because I'm not attacking anyways. So I'm going to activate this aerial recon. It says the hero action, exhaust aerial recon, and deal a player 1 face down encounter card. And then place 1 recon counter here. Sorry, I had a little... Because I'm wondering, it says face down encounter card. But I'm still thinking, because you deal from the top of the deck, I'm assuming you wouldn't just skip this one. So it's dealing this to me, but it's going into my encountered pile, which I'll just put right here. And I'll leave it here and the boost there just in case. But I mean, I don't remember anything that adds a boost. But we're still in the player phase. So that reveals that. Puts a recon counter there. And with that, I'm going to go to the end of my turn. I might as well. I don't see any reason not to keep it because I might get another ally that's expensive. I don't think there was any heavily expensive ones left, but oh, Nick Fury, right? I don't remember. No, Nick Fury's not in here. I don't know. Yeah, we'll keep it. So we dropped our hand size of 5. So I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, should have just discarded it. All right. Ready all of our cards. All right, we go to accelerate the scheme, but remember this time, because it does whatever her stage number is, her stage number is 2, so it's going to accelerate the scheme for 2. Oh, and then this flips back over. She's going to attack, because I am in hero form. And since we already know what the encounter card's going to be, so we know we won't get attacked again, we're just going to go ahead and defend for 4. She's doing 2 plus 0, so... But I had retaliate, so she takes 1. And now we do the encounter step, which we already know what this is. Oh, hold up. Before we reveal that, it's the encounter step. So we have to still deal ourselves another encounter card. Remember, this one's in there. We would have to deal ourselves another encounter card. We know we can handle that one. I don't see any reason why to deal ourselves another encounter card. We're just going to go ahead. It says, as an interrupt, when a player would be dealt an encounter card, remove 1 recon counter from here instead. So we're reconned. We don't get dealt another encounter card. So now we just do this. And we already know what it is. It's stun net, attached to my identity. Attached character cannot attack. As a hero action, I can exhaust a character I control to discard this card. Any player may trigger this ability. So that's on me. Stun with a stun net. And that's all the encounter steps. So we move on to the beginning of my turn. And we get to see the top of the card now because it's beginning of the player phase. Well, this game seems kind of silly. I just didn't even notice. Yeah, that wingman's better than I thought. If you got to have a bunch of allies out, do it. But still, first we're going to do the same thing we've been doing. We're going to discard a red and exhaust Captain America to find Captain America's shield. And since it was in play and we found it like that, does 4 damage to Black Widow. We're going to have Spectrum attack Black Widow for 3. So she gets to do her ability, which is remove a threat from the main scheme, discard the top card of the encounter deck, and resolve each preparation ability on that card. Now this doesn't happen because it's only if the card doesn't have a preparation ability, but this one does. And it says, discard 1 event card from your hand. I have no event cards in hand. So now, because Spectrum attacked her, she takes 3 damage. And then, so she don't take the consequence damage. Arrow. Also, we get to see the top card of the deck. So I was about to try to set up the same thing I've been doing here with Spectrum, but doing it for Adam Warlock. But I really don't want to do this. Well, it's not a forced response. Yeah, never mind. I don't know what I was thinking. Because I was thinking for some reason I'd have to do this response, but it's not a forced response, so I don't have to do it if it's not a forced response. That's the way I understand it. I didn't even realize that with Adam Warlock. I just always did it. But yeah, it's not a forced response either, so I don't have to do that either. So yeah, we're going to bring this into play. There's the 2. Really don't know how to say that. I don't know if it's Hugin and Moonin, or Huggin and Moonin. I'm assuming Hugin and Moonin. But put them into play. I'm not going to do their response because I really don't want to go put a minion into play. And then I'm going to put Wingman on them just like I did here because it just says attached to an aerial ally, max 1 per ally. So, and it's not unique or nothing, so, yep. Just going to be the Wingman for Adam Warlock. Oh, I also forgot when I did that aerial there. Ready Spectrum there. And actually, as much as I said it was going to be the Wingman here, I'm going to attack with Spectrum again. She removes 1 from there to do the preparation. The preparation is place 1 threat on each scheme, so it just puts the threat back. We get to see the new card. And then she attacked for 3. And then prevent the consequence damage. I'm going to bring Captain America's shield out again. Yeah, I think we just hold it there because we should have it next turn unless something happens. So, oh, I started ready and everything, but we got to draw up to our hand size. We have no cards in hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we ready everything. Oh, you know what we could have done? And this wouldn't have changed anything. We just would have exhausted him because it's a hero action. Exhaust a character you control to discard this card. So yeah, we just would have done that. Accelerate the scheme for 2. I am in hero form, so she's going to attack me. I will defend. So she's attacking for 2 plus 2. So 4. My defense is 4, so I take no damage. But I have retaliate, so I retaliate for 1. And then we go to the encounter step, and oh my goodness. Well, this shouldn't make a difference. As a force interrupt when a non-scenario specific tech advancement would be attached to the villain, attach it to Fixer instead. Text on that card that refers to the villain refers to Fixer instead. Yeah, this shouldn't make a difference unless I just wanted to say I took down Fixer also. Because we go to the beginning of my turn. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look and see what cards here. Because then we just go to the beginning of my turn. And I mean, I could sit there and play a bunch of cards, but why prolong this? Because I could just, as a hero action, exhaust Captain America and spend a physical resource and throw the shield, which is enough to KO her. So, yeah, this card's way stronger than I thought. But anyways, let me clean this up and zoom in so we can look at all these cards. So, all right. I know that video was long because, yeah, I was just geeking out and doing a bunch of extra stuff that I didn't really need to do. We'll see, because I might edit out a lot of stuff where I was just BSing. But let's try to burn through these cards. But I know last time this took a little while, but this is kind of like a review, so we kind of don't want to just rush through it because it lets you kind of just see what I, you know, if you didn't watch the unboxing or whether I misread cards, which there was definitely cards I just, not so much misread. I mean, one of them, yeah, definitely I just skipped something on, but the other one's like, it was just not taking into account what all is incorporated in the deck. So anyways, let's get right to it. I mean, Sam Wilson here. I mean, 3 recoveries basic, 10 hit points is basic, hand size 6 is basic, or average, I should say. I did not use the birds of a feather thing, and I didn't really go through the deck, and I'll keep an eye out. But I only remember there being 2 bird cards, and one of them I drew in my opening hand, so there was no reason to get it. And then the only other one I could have gotten would have been Red Wing, which I remember being good. It's just the times when I was in alter ego form, I didn't really see a reason to, I guess. But I guess I should have done it just so we could have seen Red Wing. But we'll see what Red Wing does. I just don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure it would have been good either way. All right, so let's go and look at the hero form. I mean, everything about him is average. 2/2/2, 5 hand size, 10 hit points still, of course. So, I mean, that's still just good, though. As I say average, that's just good because it means consistent. Typically, if they have something lower, they have either something higher or they have some way to boost that, or they're showing that as a weakness because they got some other strength. So, I mean, just going average just makes it to where you can play more of my play style, which is very toolbox. I mean, as of right now, I'm thinking I'm going to keep this together. And even though I know that, I don't know, that Captain America thing, I want to take it out, but that was so good in the deck. But we'll get to that anyways. During player phase, play with the top card of the encounter deck face up. I mean, that is cool, especially with the way the deck works, because you can see if you need that extra 2 or 3, or if it's going to be a 0, or even if you want to just leave it there so that they're not doing as much scheming or attacking is cool too. It's just someone like me will get analysis paralysis real bad because I'll be just like, oh, should I do it? So I was trying to just only do it when I needed to. Like, yeah, sure, let's just discard it because I don't want a 3, or I don't want to take a risk. But yeah, just the analysis paralysis in me would just always be like, but it could get worse. Or now because I changed that could change the encounter card I'm going to end up with. So if I don't have that aerial recon, but I mean, it's cool though. It is neat, especially because like with Scarlet Witch, you didn't really get to see nothing. So you had to just kind of, well, let's see what it is. Here, you can plan a little bit better. So, Eagle-Eyed response after you play an aerial card, discard the top card. Just like I was just talking about. So, all you got to do is just, if you don't like that card, you're going to play aerial cards anyways if the deck's aerial. So, boom, just get rid of it. So, it's just like I said, that's my only issue with it is someone like me, I will get analysis paralysis and quandary over it left and right. All right, bird's eye view. So there are events. I was about to say, I didn't really see event. Oh, yeah, the threat. Yeah, I should have remembered that. Because I was about to say, I don't remember any attack events either. So I just don't remember seeing any events with him. So that's what worries me. If I take the Captain America shield out, what am I doing then? But then again, it's a leadership deck. So bring out the allies, do things. So I get that too. Anyways, hero action here. Here's the remove 3 threat from a scheme. You may discard the top card of the encounter deck to remove 1 additional threat from that scheme for each icon. So that's like what we're talking about. Like, if you know you have that in hand and there's not, and say there's a 0 or a 1 on the top of the deck, maybe play an aerial card, another aerial card so that you can get rid of that, so that you can do this. Or if you see that 3, then now you know to do it. So it does help with the planning. Aerial evacuation. I did not see this one. When another friendly character would be dealt any amount of damage, discard aerial evacuation, prevent all that damage, and change to alter ego form. If that character is a hero, they also change to alter ego form. So, I mean, that could save one of your allies. So you could, like that time when I planned wrong. Yeah, and it's a preparation, so you put it out there first. So that turn where I planned, I defended, but then all of a sudden they got to attack again with the attack acrobatics. This would have been really good because then I could have blocked with arrow and then just evacuate her out and she didn't take any damage anyway. So, yeah, I will make sure I read that right. So, and then if you're playing with other players, that can just be good. Did not get to use the ability on this, but I talked about it already. I like this card. I just don't know if I like it with 3 in the deck, and of course, it makes sense. I mean, I guess so you can play it on another character if you really want. No, it doesn't say you can. It just says max 1 per player. So, yeah, just let you float resources. But it's only the resource card. And I did miss that until I was editing the Falcon unboxing. I missed that I did not catch that it was just only on the resource cards. So unless your deck has extra resource cards, like this one has the flying one or whatever. And I guess you could also, it's a leadership deck, so you're probably going to throw maybe the leadership card in there that gives you a resource per ally you have, or I mean, I could think of other ones where, like I said, I would rather just take these, put 1 of each in each of my leadership decks, as long as they have other resource cards in them and not just the basic ones, the typical, you know, because that's just 3 out of them, so you're not really going to float them. But then again, like that turn, actually, now to think of it, there was that turn I just wanted to hold on to it in case, well, you got that resource card sitting in your hand, and there's definitely been those turns when you just draw a bunch of resources and you're not going to use them, so then you don't want to discard them because you want to use them, so then you can just put it underneath this. So I can see, but once again, yeah, I just want one in my deck. At least it's cheap also to bring out, so. Yep, exactly what I was just talking about. Yep, those energies. I mean, I didn't get to play it. There was a time I was going to. It's just I was doing better with the combo I had out. But this, I still think this is a good card just because of what I talked about in the unboxing. I mean, yeah, it's 2 costs per player. But with Alliance, that means they can help you pay for it. And I think at the time when I was going to play it, it was only going to go for 4, which I was going to be able to do 4 anyways on a scheme. But I mean, if I only needed like 2 threat removal, I could have done 2 threat removal and 2 damage, and it's not an attack. We've already talked. I'm just saying this in case you didn't see the unboxing. It's not an attack and it's not a thwart, so it gets around stun, gets around confuse, and don't have to worry about retaliate because it doesn't do attack. There's a lot of things that this card is really good about. And if you're playing multiplayer, while it is going to be more expensive, you're going to have more traits out there. So it can just get silly. I can definitely see this being good, especially really more for that late game, big boom, or just even early game. Yeah, you're not going to have much stuff out there, but you just wouldn't pay it then. But then they at least make it a wild resource, which means you can use it for so many other things. So yeah, I think this is a good card. Power Flight, good if you have aerial cards, so in an aerial deck. And I think I said in the unboxing it was in the Rogue deck, but I think if I remember right, it may not have been. It may have been in the Archangel deck, and it just has Rogue in the picture. Because I got to think about it, I don't know why it'd be in the Rogue deck. I guess I could have checked. Yeah, I was just looking at the thing I use to log my cards, and it shows the symbol. I think it's just Rogues in the picture, so that's the reason I was thinking. I think it came in Archangel, but I could be wrong with that. I'm pretty sure it came in Archangel because I don't see it being in the Rogue deck because unless yeah, she flies, but you have to play a card to make her aerial, whereas Archangel was going to have it, so it would make more sense than been in the Archangel deck. Flight Squadron, I mean, I talked about it being good. This was way better than I was thinking. Now, granted, it's only when you play that aerial card, so you want to get it out early. But like once I got that combo, I mean, the limitation, of course, being ready an ally, but it's a leadership card and in a leadership deck. So you're going to have allies. But if you have that combo, because yeah, I was thinking, oh, well, yeah, you're going to ready the ally and they're just going to take the consequence damage. But if you have a way to stop the consequence damage, then yeah, no, it done its work for sure. Falcon's Flock, I mean, unlike the other ones that can be used unlimited, this one is limited to 5 times, but it doesn't exhaust. So if you're getting a bunch of cheap aerials on one turn, you can use it multiple times on the same turn, whereas the other ones that exhaust, yeah, they don't go away, but you're still getting 5 uses out of this thing. So no, it's good. We already talked about Bird's Eye View. Birds of Prey, deal 4 damage. So he did have some attack events. I bet he only had 2. And I probably used one of them as a resource, not paying attention. Well, I had to because these were all. So anyways, Bird of Prey, there's his attack. So he did have an attack event. I'm about to say, that's weird. I didn't remember seeing any attack events. But there it was. Yeah, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So 2 for 4. And discard the top card. So it's most likely going to be 2 for 5 or 6. And then those times when I saw 3, you're talking 2 for 7. So, I mean, yep, it's good. Yeah, genius. Wingman's so good. And I didn't even catch that. I was thinking you could only have one of them in play, but it doesn't. Now, granted, if you can't, that's the reason they had to put the Triskelion in there and the other one that if all your guys are aerial, that way you also just can't mix it. But you got to get that out. But now if you can sit there and make several wingmen, yeah, this is good. And I mean, I typically make my decks a little over 40, usually like 42. For some reason I go with that, like 42, 43. Not just because of the magic number of 42, but 42-ish. So I might throw like, oh, but she's not aerial though, so that could just mess it all up. I was trying to think if, I don't think she is. I think she's only shield. I was thinking of Mockingbird. Yeah, I was thinking of Mockingbird. Nah, she wouldn't come in here. I was trying to think of some other... Yeah, I just want to look at the other aerials. I don't want to waste time. But yeah, no, this is good. And if you get the Triskelion out or that flock, now you got 5. So you're not taking up too much space. And then even then, like I said, you can see the options. Like I could have just let Spectrum start taking damage and stop the consequence damage from someone with less hit points. But yeah, just being able to bounce it around was just so good. Yeah, we already talked about that. Up, up, and away. There was a time I was going to use this. After an attacking enemy is given a face-down boost card, look at that card and swap it. But that was a time when I'd already planned on defending anyway, so I was cool with the card that was going to happen. But I could definitely see it if you either just misplanned or you just couldn't get rid of that because you didn't have an aerial card or whatever, and you need that. You just don't want that 3 to happen. Or if there's a bad boost or something. So, yep, I can definitely see it. And it's free. That's always good. I don't know how many times like you play a good defense card and now you wasted that card and all of your, no, not wasted, but you spent that card and all the resources for it, and now your turn comes and there's not much you can do. So, but nope, that's good. Draw their fire. I had this. After the villain phase begins, discard, draw their fire. Falcon does not exhaust to defend. I mean, I thought about it. And I think I talked about this in the unboxing. I think this would be much better in a multiplayer game, but because then you can defend for them and whatnot. Or in a game where you have a bunch of minions out, Ultron or something like that, because then you can just defend and it doesn't exhaust you. Like, actually, think about it. I was defending with that retaliate. It was exhausting me, so I wasn't able to ever get rid of the stun. Like, I needed to get rid of it, but still, I wasn't able to get rid of the stun, or I wasn't able to do other stuff. Luckily, I had other people to do that because it is a leadership deck. But this is in there. I mean, what if this wasn't a leadership deck? So you don't have a bunch of allies to do things. Then you can't be getting yourself locked down. So, no, that's a good card. And you can choose whether you need to do it for that turn. So on a turn when you don't really need to defend, you don't have to worry about it then. Yeah, like I wanted to get them both out, and that would have been crazy. Now, I don't think I even used Arrow for what I was going to use her for. But yeah, I mean, think about it. Give all your aerials +1 thwart. So on one of those turns when you need a thwart really well, or I guess that was kind of a bad play to put it on Arrow, because then I never got to exhaust her or put that other card on her, because then I never got to Wingman on her, because then I never got to exhaust her to give the +1 attack, which would have been on, but options. And I mean, I didn't really like her, but I mean, I didn't mind her because I like that she's exhaust, so she doesn't take damage. So like you could use her like what I was going to do with Arrow before I found the Wingman thing. You can use her for a little bit and then just exhaust her, but then you always got to worry about something that says do damage to guys you have. Then it's like, oh no. So that's the reason I didn't really want to, I don't know why I did what I did with Arrow. Like, I guess I felt like I wasn't doing damage. I wanted to do something. But then at the end, setting up what I did. But I wanted to get them both out. This would have been good. I mean, being able to thwart when I needed the thwart. And they even could have just made my thwarts bigger or just my attacks bigger, which we already talked about 2. And now I'm doing 3. Like, yeah, no, it's good in this deck. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm keeping this deck together. If anything, I didn't mention it. Like I might take out 1 strength and diversity if there's stuff I need to add in. Like I'll look and see what I can add in and where I can make some space. Maybe 1 strength and diversity. I'll probably, even as much as I like Flight Squadron, well, we already talked about, I'll get rid of 2 resource reserves. So once again, if I find other things I want to put in the place of those, and then if I need more space, I'll probably cut those, and maybe even just 1 Flight Squadron, because I do want to get this out as soon as possible, so I want them as many as possible in my deck. But Talent line, I had it in hand. I just felt like it was too early to really take advantage of it. Because after you resolve Falcon's Eagle Eye ability, discard it. For each icon in the discarded card's boost area, choose one. Ready a character you control and stun an enemy. I mean, I could have stunned her, so I just wouldn't take anything early. Or even on that last turn, when I was making that push, maybe I could have knocked her out a turn earlier by readying all those characters. So I can see it. It's good. I'm not going to say it's not. I just felt like early game, when I drew it, it just wasn't as useful other than maybe a stun. I mean, I guess I could have done some double stuff with my character. Yeah, at the time, I had rather used it for a resource. But no, it's good. Triskelion, yeah, I play with it I don't think it's in all my leadership decks, but I think it's definitely in my She-Hulk Avengers leadership, and I want to say Ant-Man. I don't know if it's in anything else, because I think I only have 2, but yeah, no, it's good. And I would say it's even more, if you're going to use the Wingmans in here, it definitely needs to be in this deck. So what I like about it so much is so cheap. And now, granted, don't do much unless you have a bunch of allies out, but it's so cheap, yeah. Aerial Recon, yeah, that's the one. I just didn't even see the potential. Like, you can literally decide what encounter card you want to do. Like, ooh, that's a good one. I'll do that one for the turn. And then if you're in a good spot, you can just say, I'll do that one for the turn, and plus just go ahead and just take a random and just hold it for when you want to later, where it's like, oh, I don't want to have to do an encounter. Just what turn I don't want to do an encounter on. So, I mean, yeah, that's really good. I just did not even see that potential. Yeah, I never noticed. I've been playing with this card. I didn't notice that it doesn't say forced response. So I didn't have to do it. Because I was kind of like worried. It was like, man, I don't really want to do this at this point. But you don't have to. So, but the stuff you can get from it, 3 threat, or, because it does say if that card's put in resource has. So I would assume if you hit a one with multiple, you get the multiple. So good if you can get that wild resource in there. You get the wild resource in there, all the above. So, I mean, while it's 5, you're going to kind of sit there and try to get that wild resource in there just so that you can get everything. And then with that combo I had, that was just silly. I mean, and she could have, even with 5 hit points, it was like she can kind of take a hit. And then if you do that evacuation, you don't care. So, I mean, yeah. No, it was good. I liked her a lot. Once again, I was down on this one on the unboxing, but once again, did not realize it doesn't say forced response, so you don't have to do it. And I mean, there are times to do it. It was just, I was worried I'd go through 10 cards. I couldn't remember how many minions were in there, so I was worried I'd go through 10 cards, and all it'd be there was Fixer. So then I'd have to put Fixer in there. Or out. But I guess that would let me ready and then attack, so maybe I would have knocked her out that turn. It's good, and I'll leave it in there because it's Aerial, Asgard, and Bird. So I didn't even notice that even more to that one. It says per strength and diversity, because that's adding 2 more. Yeah, no, it's definitely good for readying things to go in for that final, or when you need to have something done, so you might need to ready a bunch of things. We already talked about Cloud9, so I didn't use her for what I wanted to do with her, but yeah, at that time when I had both of them in hand, I was like, do I really waste one of them? But that was because I wanted to play Captain America Shield, which was I mean, basically once I made that choice, we just went Captain America Shield, Captain America Shield, Captain America Shield, but we easily could have just used Captain America to bring that out, and then brought out Cloud9 later, and then I could have been thwarting for 3 and attacking for 3. Now, granted, I would have to get rid of the stun, but yeah, I could have been doing more, but yeah, why not? I just changed the way I was doing it, but yeah, I like it. It's staying in the deck for sure. Battlefield Awareness. When Falcon uses a basic power, yeah, we use this. Because it's good because it's any basic power. I was about to say recovery, but it's got to be hero form. I was like, could you use that for recovery to get a big heal? But that don't make sense on, I'm more aware, so I get more of a recovery? No. But yeah, it's only in hero, so yeah, you can only do it for the other three. But I mean, yeah, it can be used for defense, can be used for attack. Now, the only one that is kind of, no, I guess it's not really quite, well, it is in multiplayer. I'm about to say the only one that would be questionable would be the defense. But if you're the first player, you know what the top card is already anyways. So it's not questionable. But yeah, no, it's good. I like it. That's the reason I chose to bring it out first, because it was like, okay, that's going to let me thwart for, 3, 4, 5, or it's going to let me attack for 3, 4, or 5. So Vibranium Microwave, yep, give me a +1 defense. So even if I didn't have Captain America's shield out, that would have gave me the extra defense. Now, I don't know how many times I was at 4 defense, or 4 getting attacked for 4, but then I would have been using Microwave to actually do a damage back to him, which would have been the retaliate from. So I guess having the 4 defense was letting me not use the Microwave, but then it was also not letting me take damage. So not going to complain about it. It's good. We already talked about up and away. We already talked about Bird of Prey. Yeah, Red Wing. Okay. Exhaust Red Wing. Return him to your hand and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Choose to either deal X damage to an enemy or remove X threat. So if you got that 2 resource thing, bringing him back into play is going to do damage or do... Yeah, no, he's really good. Maybe I should have went and searched for him earlier. And it's not an attack or thwart, so it gets around to confuse and stun. Yeah, no, he's really good. Maybe I should have went for him earlier. There was a couple turns I thought about it, and I just didn't. But I should have. I had him in hand on the last turn, and I could have played him and done some stuff, but why not just end the game? So threw Captain America's shield and did it. Same here with Soup Kitchen. I had it in hand at the end. Exhaust Sam Wilson and Soup Kitchen. So this is Alter Ego card. Heal damage from Sam Wilson equal to his recovery, and reduce the cost of the next ally or support played this phase by 2. So I guess I could have just on the last turn brought this out, did it. Oh, I would have to go to Alter Ego action and all that, but no. Yeah, definitely helps to get the allies out, or even your supports cheaper. Yeah, it's good. I want to leave it in here, but I really want to build Bucky. I guess I'll see. I'll see what I can build with Bucky. Leadership shield, maybe, and just see. I don't know. I'll see what I can do. I'm going to leave it in here until I can see something, because there's no reason to take it out until I have something. Because I just like Winter Soldier, Captain America. So, but as much as I'm not a fan of Cap Falcon, this is so good for this deck. It just really is. Especially like in the case where I was at, because I didn't care about stun. And then I could just do the damage. Like, that might be one of the things I even think about, especially since I'm getting rid of some of the cards that have the strength. Or I keep wanting to call it strength because of legendary. That has the physical resource. Make sure to add in more cards that either have wild or the physical resource. And preferably wild, because then that lets me build into Spectrum more. So, yep, I like it. Oh, well, it's Captain America's shield. I was talking about Captain America. Let's talk about Captain America's shield. Yeah, it does the same thing as Captain America's shield, which is really good. And plus defense and retaliate. So you don't care about defending, or even if you have a way to heal. Like if I would have had Soup Kitchen out to where I'm healing during Alter Ego and switching back and forth, well, then I don't care. I'll take the damage and let them get retaliated on, or I'll defend and let them get retaliated on. So, and if you're playing with Captain America's shield, if you're playing with this combo, you're doing 4 damage and retaliating, so you're doing 5 damage most likely each turn. Yeah, that's good. I like this card a lot. Yeah. So, all right, that's everything in the deck. We saw this. We didn't have to deal with it because it was a boost card. But, yeah, uses, 3 emergency counters. I remember it not being good. Now, the nice thing is it's victory 0. So, once you get done with it, it's going to go away because it's going to go to the victory pile. Alter Ego action, spend 1 resource of any type. Remove 1 emergency counter from here. So, basically you have to spend 3 resources. So, hopefully you get the double resources. Oh, no, yeah. Because as an action, spend 1 resource of any type. So yeah, you can't even do double resources. So you're going to have to discard 3 cards. It's not aerial, so you can't use any other stuff. So yep, you're going to have to figure out a way to get rid of that. Especially if you don't want to do that extra encounter for sure. Hopefully you were saving up the recon. Because then at least you can use them up. All right, so let's look at this. Ops room. Oh yeah, we already talked about this in there. I like the cards that do this. The Justice one, Remove Threat. But yeah, I like all these cards. And this one, preventing a damage and removing a threat from a scheme. So this could even, well, yeah, you wouldn't be doing the same combos I did anyways. I'm about to say, this lets you kind of do Wingman to a degree. Because you can prevent the damage, the consequence damage, and also remove a threat. So, I mean, yeah, I like it. It's good. Good protection card. I remember liking this one. Misty Knight, 4 cost 3. Ally. When Misty Knight thwarts, look at the top 2 cards in the encounter deck and discard one of those cards. She gets +1 thwart for this thwart for each. Yeah. For a Justice deck, so good. That's the reason she's so expensive. Because you get to look at the top 2. So most likely you're going to at least get a thwart of 3 out of her. So 3 times 3, you're getting 9. And if you find a way to heal her. Oh no, you can't do Hops Room. But yeah, find a way to heal her. I talked about this one in the Winter Soldier playthrough because I was thinking about putting this in Captain America Aggression ally deck. And then I can play with that team up. And I mean, yeah, after Winter Soldier attacks and defeats an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So unless he's hitting allies or finishing off the allies, it's not really going to do much. But it does the same ability, which is what the allies do, is what the identity or the hero does. But I mean, 3 for 3. And you're going to get 6 damage. So you're really... And then you're hoping to double duty that into removing some threat also. So yeah, it's good. All right, so that was the new cards. Let's go to the Nemesis. I was trying to find it. There we go. The Nemesis Viper minion, 2 scheme, 2 attack, 5 quick strike. So attacks immediately. I remember the force response being bad. Yeah, after Viper activates, discard the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. So you already kind of don't want to be doing your ability left and right because you're worried you're going to cycle through the deck too fast. And this is going to, oh, you've been cycling through the deck because you've been doing that? And now we're going to cycle through faster. So, yeah, you got to take him out fast if he hits with Shadows of the Past or Panic something from Mysterio's deck. Serpent Solution, side scheme, 6 threat. Force response. After a Serpent Society minion is discarded from the top of the encounter deck, deal that minion to the first player. Yeah, you want to take care of this because if he's out, which if you hit Shadows of the Past, he is. If he's out, that's going to do some bad stuff. And then if you're using it literally shuts down your Falcon ability, so you're not wanting to discard them from the top of the deck. So, and then here's the Serpent Soldiers. So, yep, they're a 3 hit point, 1 scheme, 2 attack, quick strike, and then they have the boost ability of giving the activated enemy an additional boost card. No. Well, it just makes it aware you're not getting a 0. So, advertisement, Surge. When revealed, shuffle each Serpent Society minion from the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck so that you can hit them again, and then you're going to Surge. Well, you search, I would assume, yeah. I don't know why I was even thinking assume. You'd search first, so, but still, when revealed, shuffle each serpent. So, I mean, it's gonna shuffle them in. You're gonna do something, then you're gonna have to do another encounter. So this is just a freebie, and then plus you're going to, yeah. Yeah, we saw him. He came out. All the Thunderbolts suck because they have a lot of hit points. It's like another villain hits villainous. At least they go to the victory pile when you're done, and they're good for that scenario with Baron Zemo. But 2 scheme, 1 attack, 15 hit points, and he's villainous, so he's going to get boost cards. And When a non-scenario specific tech attachment would be attached to the villain, attach it to Fixer instead. Text on that card that refers to the villain refers to Fixer instead. So, technological innovation. Yep, when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a tech attachment and reveal it. Place one additional threat here for each tech card in play. So, it's gonna get 4, 5 for sure, if there's not already others. And then has the acceleration on it. So, yeah, got to take care of it. Techno, treachery, when revealed. Oh, yeah, these are the typical ones where it said, go find them. He activates against you. If no enemy activated this way, this card gains surge. Then it has the boost. If this activation is an attack, it gains piercing. So, yep. Oh yeah, we saw that. We saw that boost in this. All right, tech pack. It's a tech attachment. +1 scheme, +1 attack. Attached to Fixer, otherwise attached to the villain. Attached enemy gets +1 attack for each other tech attachment it has. So if he is loading up a bunch. And then hero action, exhaust any number of characters you control with a combined thwart greater than attached enemy scheme. Discard this card. So, yeah. Gonna be a little hard to probably do. We saw this and it was annoying because it's like having a toughness, but I mean, there's worse ones out there. But it is a tech attachment, so it can stack onto those other ones. Now, as far as them catching, gaining aerial, I can only think... I think there's a bad guy that, if they have aerial, it adds some stuff. But other than that, yeah, but basically it's like having another toughness. So, all right. Sorry this was long enough. I just decided to start adding these reviews in. More for, that way if you didn't see the unboxing or if you just rather, and to see if there's anything that just changed my mind. And there were definitely cards that, not really so much changed my mind, but that after seeing them in play, definitely realized they were different. So, for sure. But cool. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that playthrough. I know I definitely did. Yeah, I enjoyed it more than the Winter Soldier one. Which, like I said, that seems to be the thing. The one I'm looking forward to, which was Winter Soldier, tends to be the one I didn't have as much fun with. But it was also aggression. It's just not my play style. I mean, it was still fun. I ain't going to say Winter Soldier wasn't fun. It was fun. This was definitely more fun, even... just the Captain America, but then also just doing the leadership stuff, finding the cheesy wingman combo. Yeah, it was cool. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.